any day.
Okay, thank you.
I thought it was Mr. Root that forgot to come. I thought it was Mr. Root that would forget.
Not Mr. Snuffer.
Which one was full?
It's
Call the change.
beef after
Hey,
leather.
I told Peggy, she said, what time are you meeting? I said, 5:30, but I thought there was one on 5. I don't think so. So I went back and looked at my agenda and said, no, it's done there on 5.
Call meeting to order. Let the record show all board members are present. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Motion moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we have no recognitions, no delegations. Communications report. Dr. Hutchins.
The only thing I did was go to the back-to-school wellness fair or whatever, and it was packed. There were lots of people and a lot of people working hard, so I think it was really well received. But I know Marcia was there, Marie, Larry, I think you were there, so maybe they want to report in detail, but it was interesting.
Marcia?
Like Dr. Hutchins, I attended the fair, and it was an awesome event. Very well attended.
Ms. Ambry?
The same thing you guys did. I mean, I can't even imagine all the work that went into it, but you pulled it off and it was nice. It was good.
Mr. Snuffer?
I didn't attend the fair.
I didn't even push my button.
I went to the fair. It's called the state fair. That's where I went, okay.
Doesn't
So,
count.
Just so y'all can know, okay? There's two different fairs, okay?
You want to report on that?
Yeah, hot and stuff, and do that. I did go out to Stratton Elementary. I guess that was today's, it would have been Saturday. And it really looking good. They're getting the fence all finished up and everything, and you know, the playground, the ball court, it looks really nice.
Did you slide down the slide?
No, I left that up to Mr. No, but it looked really good. And I did go to Fairdale and to Liberty and to Trap Hill, and the grounds all looked really nice. They'd been out back and mowed everything, and everything was looking really good. So that was it.
Okay, I did the same thing that most of our members did. I went to the fair. The place was packed. You had to hunt for a parking space. They all did a great job. And whoever pushed that, Dr. Starcher, it was great.
Thank you, thank you, board members. I'll start with the fair. I have a few remarks, but Mr. Dillon is responsible for the fair. So it's the best fair yet, and he did a great job. Now, he had a support cast. The ladies behind him, I know, helped him, and certainly Kathy Barr does a great deal of work on the fair too. But I would like to say publicly, Arby's gave us a grant for $4,000 and some dollars, $4,600. That grant is used to support the underwear and socks, but I will defer to next meeting. I know Mr. Dillon's going to provide a report on the fair at the next meeting, but I would certainly like to thank him and his supporting cast for pulling that off. It was a wonderful event for our students.
I think we were going to sing happy birthday, maybe.
Oh, yeah. He spent it with us, his birthday with us, and many, many students. A few other things. We have just wrapped up our 3-day Leadership Academy with our administrators. We had some great speakers. We had a principal from Wheeling Park, Meredith Daylor, thank you. She came down and talked with our principals about the MTSS process and PBIS in particular. But if Dr. Hutchins recalls, we heard her in Charleston. Mr. Sexton, Dr. Hutchins, and I all heard her. So we brought her. She was a very good speaker, and she brought the high school perspective of PBIS and how to make that work. So we had her, and then we had Dennis Snow, Lessons from the Mouse. We had heard him in June at our WVASA conference. So he came, both great sessions. And it was a packed 3 days, and it actually carried over for a couple hours today, but great Leadership Academy. Miss Lowry and that supporting cast put that academy together, and I'm really thankful for that. Back to school PD has already started for our service personnel, those who have returned already, and then we go into full gear on Thursday when all staff return. So back to school, we actually have another great guest speaker coming next Monday. Ron Clark will be coming. So we'll have 2 sessions, one in the morning, one in the evening or afternoon for all of our staff.
Are you going to jump rope with him?
No, I'm not going to.
Okay, just-
Mr. Dillon may.
I've seen him at the national thing. He's quite a speaker.
I hear he's a great speaker. I've never heard him, so I'm excited about Monday. So, absolutely. Is it at 8 and at, tell us the time.
Dr. Starshall will kick off at 8:30, he'll start at 9, and then she'll speak again at 12:30, he'll speak at 1. There's a more intimate, session with just administrators at 11:15 in Woodrow. We're gonna have just our administrators with him for a smaller session.
So please, if you want to come, please come out. That is Monday the 19th. So Ms. Samanko and her office has been busy, and Ms. Turner and other people welcoming our new employees, new teachers, that is. We've had about 60 new employees, and today I think about 50, close to 50 of them were here. They'll be back again tomorrow. We had a huge secondary group, and then we had, I want to say maybe 17 elementary and close to about 30 secondary. So I did ask them all to identify where they were coming to us from, whether it be college or another county. And we have several newbies, but we actually have several seasoned teachers coming from other counties and some coming back to us. They might have been with us, left, and now they're coming back. So, last September we operated, at that point we were operating with 92 long-term subs. We are much better positioned. I don't have an exact number today, but we are much better positioned this year than we were last year in terms of our professional staff. So that's good. They will be here today. Well, they were here today. They'll be back tomorrow for their House Bill 4600 training on working with special needs students.
What's the last day that we'll fill a position? Are we
Today.
past that?
It's today.
Today, okay.
Today.
That's what I was wondering.
Yes, you have a long agenda, or a long list, but it is today. The water line project has begun at Woodrow. I think it was last Tuesday. We had a progress meeting, and that same day, they hit the old water line, so we didn't have water at ACT. It's going to be a delicate project. The closer we get to that water line, the existing water line, the worse we're going to be probably. It's just very delicate and fragile. But they did get it fixed that evening, they being the contractor, and we were able to open back up the following day. But the project is underway. It has a 100-day completion period. Any questions about the water line?
The student parking lot that they're working on, is that the one in the front and not the one in the back, or
So
is it both?
they worked on the horseshoe area first.
Okay.
They were supposed to then go to the right, when I think of right, go to the big student parking area. Earlier today, we saw that they had moved to the left of the horseshoe a little bit, and I don't know if we had a report back from our architect. We had asked our architect to check on that for us. Mr. Daniel, do we have? So we don't have an update from this morning. They're supposed to, Ms. Hamrick, what they were supposed to do was move from the horseshoe around the gym, student parking lot, back by the football field, out towards the auditorium. That was the path we asked them to do. But this morning, we saw movement towards the left, going towards the auditorium. So we were hoping to stop that and get them to go the correct way. But I will say that we expressed concern about the parking lot, the student parking lot, and now they've redesigned the waterline route. It looks as if it's only going to affect about 25 spots in the student parking lot. Any other questions about the water line? 100 days, and it will be over. Might be a long 100 days, but it's 100 days.
You're already counting, right?
Yes, we are. The last thing I would share with the board, if you recall, we updated our sexual harassment policy to be in accordance with the new Title IX regulations that were to go into effect August 1st. The board, you've already approved that policy. Last week, we received communication that an injunction has been filed and granted, so we cannot implement the new Title IX regulations. The guidance is at this point that we continue to follow our former policy until the process plays out. And then we'll know if we can enact the new regulations or if we're having to go back to the old. So my thought is that we will put the old policy back on our website, and we will monitor that.
So the injunction was at the state level?
It's at the federal level. It's federal law, so.
Actually, our state sued and got the thing, yeah.
But it's at the federal, it's the federal level. So that's been the guidance that we've received. So my thought is we'll put the policy back up, the old policy. We can even have both policies there and just say in effect, unless you have another idea here. I mean, good, okay. Unless you have any questions, that's what I have for you tonight.
I was going to ask a question about fall sports. I guess everyone started now, fall sports, correct?
Well, middle and high, yes.
Middle and high, that's what I meant.
Yes, the middle schools would have started yesterday.
Yeah. So everything went smooth with the new training and everything like that? You haven't heard any repercussions from any of that stuff?
No, the schools were very generous in allowing people who missed to come. There was a bit of confusion around winter sports and spring sports. Everybody thought they had to come, and some of the, like, on-edge parents were a little bit calm when they realized their children wouldn't miss basketball or spring sports, that we would offer SERP again before those two
Right.
seasons start.
The training that I attended went really well. It was well attended. Went really well. Ms. Foster's office did a great job putting together. Lasted the whole thing less than 30 minutes. That was good.
Numbers look pretty, have you heard numbers out for sports that look pretty good?
I don't know numbers countywide. I've personally been to some practices and stuff.
I figured you had.
Myself, they look good to me
Yeah.
so far. Yes, sir.
We would still possibly have some SERP training going on, though, because elementary sports haven't started. So we still may have elementary schools finishing up that requirement. I think we're good otherwise. I think our schools did a great job with that. And communicating, we sent messages out, we put it on our billboard, just trying to make sure parents and students were aware.
I heard a lot of stuff about the cooperation. A lot of the parents from, who had kids at Liberty went to the one at Trap Hill. And they liked that, be able to do that. It worked well, and the other way around, but they were saying, it was worked out, that the two schools worked together and.
Our schools did a really nice job of working together. And Woodrow, bless their hearts, they had people from other counties that thought they could come. It was a very interesting situation for a while, but they even, being in the auditorium, took on outlier schools to come in and they were very well organized.
Good deal.
Okay, moving right along. No unfinished business. Under policies and procedures, approve the revisions of policy C.1.2, staff-student relations. Speaking to that.
Yes, Mr. Ford. So this policy has just been updated to have more current language and just, I guess, guidance for our staff. But this policy is not dictated by a state policy. This is a policy unique to Raleigh County. But again, we have updated it and would request that it be placed on 30-day comment.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I move we put policy C.1.2 out for 30-day comment.
I'll second.
Motion moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, revisions of policy D.2.11, student drug testing, Raleigh County Schools.
I believe Mr. Pack wants to speak to the next two policies.
Good afternoon. That was the drug testing policy. Okay, the State Department changed their requirements. It's no longer 100% required for completers, and it is cumbersome to perform that test in the high school, so now we've made it more of a random test, and then it is still mandatory for certain programs to finish their certification and go into clinicals. So we just updated the language a little bit.
One other change, it's not just, you don't have to just have urine, it could be saliva as well.
Yes.
That's been added to the policy.
Yes. Makes it easier in the high schools.
Anybody have any questions?
When you say random test, do you have a mechanism you pick those out? How do you pick out who you're going to test, or?
Yes, we do. We send an Excel spreadsheet to the vendor, and they generate a random students.
They do it.
Then they come back, tell us, these are the students.
To do it? How often do you do that?
We try to do that twice a year.
Twice a year?
Yeah.
What do you do with positive test?
They receive nothing but education. There's no discipline involved.
Okay.
This is educational, so they receive education. Upon a second positive, they would be not allowed to return for the next semester. That's only happened once or twice in recent years.
Once you've had a positive test, are you subject then that you're going to get the next test again, or are you?
Yes.
Okay.
Once you test positive, you're an automatic test every
okay.
time.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
And there's several days of education. They're pulled from actually hands-on activities to an
Right.
education, drug awareness and that type of thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Do you have a motion?
I move we put policy D.2.11, student drug testing after 30-day comment.
Second.
Motion's moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve revisions of policy D.3.31, CTE embedded credits.
We offer embedded credit in language, art, and math for almost all of our programs, so we have added a few new programs, and the State Department has asked us to switch which math we offer, and so we've done that in these revisions as well.
Anybody have any questions?
What math change?
There was I would have to look at the policy, but there was a math that we was offering to a couple of our classes that they asked us not to use, and to use the transition math for everybody.
Okay.
It was titled Technical Transition
Yes.
Mathematics.
Yeah.
And you'll see that we have a strike through it on page 2, section C.
And there's a couple of advanced maths for our computer program and a STEM program.
Any other questions? Have a motion?
I move we approve D.3.31, embedded credit for 30-day comment.
Second.
Motion's moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, the following policies are to be, have completed a 30-day comment, and if there's no objection, I'd like to have there's no comments for A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I, J, K, L, M, and N. There was a comment on H, so if there's no objection, we could approve all of those as a package except H.
Okay.
Any objection?
I move we approve policy, might as well state them out, C.1.15, D.3.22, E3, E8, E10, E18, F6, C2.2, E1, E7A, D.38, D.3.14, and F14 after 30-day comment be approved.
There's a second. Motion's moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Approve revisions of policy B.5.3. You have a comment?
Yes, Mr. Ford, I'd want to share, you should have a copy of one comment received in your packet tonight. It was regarding B.5.3 and the limit or the limitation placed on the number of field trips. In regard to the first, do you have that? Does everybody have that?
I haven't,
I thought it was.
I got it. Is it-
Okay.
We do.
Here.
So the first couple of paragraphs there talk about restrictions and limitations, and a concern that what if there are other opportunities for students, such as plays and so forth. This limitation in policy, we don't apply it to, say, when West Virginia Dance Company comes, that's something we offered to our students. That does not count towards the limitation. This year, we were able to provide the opportunity for all of our students to the elementary, and I think we offered it to middle school, to go to Woodrow's Theater performance. That does not count. So this is a limit on the number of field trips that a school would arrange for each class or grade level and so forth. So it's not that our students are limited to only those two, but we certainly don't allow them to go to multiple just throughout
Right.
the year. And I will say, this is not a new limit. Our policy already has a limit on 2, but the current policy does not say when the trips have to occur. They can have 2 in May, they could do 2 in the fall. This says you have to do 1 in the fall and 1 in the spring,
Right.
which makes it a little more manageable for the school system to have all the trips and nurse coverage and so forth.
Transportation, everything, yeah.
Yes.
So it's per school, not per grade level?
Oh, no, like
That's
fourth
okay.
grade
Okay.
could go on 2 trips.
Okay.
Third
Right.
grade could go on 2 trips.
Okay.
That's not only 2 for the whole school.
Okay.
Does anybody have a question about that? There's another paragraph there that talks about group academic grant program requirements, sports team, pep buses. Obviously, if Shady High makes the state basketball tournament and we can provide pep buses, we do. Sometimes based upon the game time, we can't provide as many buses as we'd like, if any, because our first priority is to get kids home. So anyway, that wouldn't count either. It's just, and another example, Mr. Snuffer, you'd be familiar with this, the ag programs.
Right.
They take far more than 2 because those trips are they go along with the program. But this is basically just those extra things that the schools like to do. So again, it's not a change in the number of the field trips, it's just a change in when they can take them. So I personally would recommend that that we approve the revision as presented.
I have a question. Say, 4th grade or something had taken 1 trip each semester, and again, maybe toward the end, some very unique opportunity came up that was just not thought about or whatever. Could they then appeal to you or to the
Absolutely.
board
I
or
mean, I
something
think
and
that would be
say,
fine.
this is a unique opportunity that doesn't come along very often.
Absolutely.
May our 4th grade do this? So there would be some
Absolutely.
sort of.
Well, the
Yes.
thing is, right now, most of these, let's be honest, most of these field trips are not educational.
Well, some of them aren't, but some of them are.
I mean, Carowinds or going to Camden Park, it's a thing, it's a reward kind of system. It's a thing, they do a lot of stuff. They go to the Charleston, they used to go to the mall, stuff like that. I mean, it's okay, but, I don't
Well,
know
no,
how much.
I'm talking about that, I'm talking about.
I know,
say,
but something
the
unique.
DVU says we have this opportunity for all 4th graders to come
Right.
and tour something or the other, or do
Right.
something. See,
But
to me, that would be something.
That would be
you
unique, but
need
that
to
would be
do.
just like what she said, be sponsored countywide or sponsored for a thing for us.
And even if it was specific to a school, Dr. Hutchins, like you said, if Daniels Elementary has already gone somewhere in the fall and gone somewhere in March, and then an amazing opportunity comes available in May, Ms. Akerd would get in touch with Ms. Blankenship and we would discuss it,
And
yeah.
that would be considered on an
Yes,
individual
absolutely.
basis, sure.
We actually had that happen this year, so they could have 2 per year this year, so it was 4th grade. And so a lot of the schools, the 4th grade finished it with 4-H, WVU Extension offered a STEM day, and we allowed all 4th grades to go who wanted to. Even though they didn't have theirs.
Sounds kind of countywide. though.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah.
So, I would, given that there's really not a change other than when, 1 in the fall, 1 in the spring, which helps manage all of the field trips instead of having so many in the month of May and then nursing coverage becoming a problem for us. And if we remember, we've reduced the number of nurses with the reduction of COVID money. So we're really just trying to make this manageable and not
And I
take
think
away
when
field
you
trips.
put it out on comment, didn't Angie or they talked about the nursing
Yes.
problem and covering and everything?
I think it was Mr. Dillon who spoke, but
Okay.
yes,
Eric,
that's been a
Someone did.
big problem,
Okay.
yeah.
We spoke again Monday to our administrative staff
We did.
about field trips in general and the hardship it makes on our nursing staff.
I move then we approve policy B.5.3, trip policy. That was put out on 30-day comment.
Second.
Motion's moved to second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consent items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Can we vote on those as a package, or do
I
we need
want
to
to
vote?
remove F, bids and contracts.
Okay, so can I have a motion for A, B, C, D, E, G, and H?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Under consent items, F, approve recommendations for bid contracts. Mr. Snuff, you have a question?
We have two there, bids. One with the 9 new school buses, which it is what it is. Those aren't cheap. I know that. It's an expensive thing there. Or those all have air now. We getting air on all the buses. That's what I thought. And what's that work out per bus, Greg? Do you know? What's that work out per bus? I didn't do the math on that, but
I have numbers here if you want. I don't know how specific you want.
I'm just curious at what,
If you-
different sizes, what we were getting.
Yeah, our most expensive bus is the special needs buses. They're $151,737 per bus. We bought 2 of those. And the cheapest one was $137,832, and that's the next size up, the 60-passenger bus. And we only bought 1 of those. The other 2 sizes that we purchased this year were $147,000 and $149,000 respectively.
Yeah.
For 77 and 84 passenger.
Not cheap.
They are not.
My other real question was the Stratton parking lot. I mean, that reason I was out Stratton, I was out there looking at the parking lot and stuff, and I just like an explanation, or maybe let's look at that. Almost $1.2 million for paving that parking lot's a lot of money. I mean, maybe that is what it's gotta be, but that's a pretty expensive, thing. I don't know what all the architects are requiring on that or what it is, but that's a lot of thing. I mean, that's a lot of asphalt, a lot for asphalt.
I think it's just gotten really expensive. I tried to get my driveway done, they wanted $14,000 to do my darn driveway.
Yeah, well, I understand, but
So I have.
your
It's
drive,
not even close to a parking lot.
yeah.
I have a little information that I can share with you, and then Mr. Wisnett is here,
Okay.
and he could provide more. But this is information from our architect. There will be approximately 42,875 square feet of paved area for 115 additional parking spaces. There's parking lot lighting and security cameras included in the project. Then there is an underground stormwater detention system that is required by the city of Beckley, and that is a little more than $200,000. I want to say it was 230,000 roughly. So that's being required by the city of Beckley. So that's what's contained in the project, and then Mr. Wisnett, he can go into more detail if he would like.
Mr. Daniel and I met with the architects over there when we bid this out, and there's gonna be a lot of dirt work. There was some material left over from the construction of the new school, and that material has to be used in the parking lot, and then it has to be moved, and some other material will have to be brought in. And the stormwater drainage, there'll be a lot of construction there, so it's more than asphalt. There's a lot of dirt work involved.
So they are gonna have, you're gonna bring some dirt in then for that parking lot?
Yeah, they gotta make bring the parking lot up to grade. Then, once they get everything in and start on the stormwater, then there'll be more excavation, and we'll be able to use a lot of the material that's there, but some material may have to be brought in.
How's that gonna function with the road going through? I mean, you tore those houses down and the street through there, how's that functioning on that? I mean,
I don't have a definitive plan now, but I know during construction, we had to make some modifications to bus routes during the other, the school construction. Actually, I think our drivers for that area are pretty well, they were pretty well trained now for the change of bus routes and the change of the bus pattern. So I'm not aware that we will have any problem with that. Mr. Bekejan, do you foresee any problem?
No, not that I'm aware
Yeah.
okay. Most of this parking is where we tore down the houses and the other stuff, that's correct?
Absolutely.
Right, that's what I was thinking, when I was out there to look at it. Okay, I just want to make sure, I mean, it's a lot of money, but when you you take $200,000 more of that off just for the City of Beckley's donation, that brings it down to about,
A little under $1 million.
A little under $1 million.
I do want to say, Mr. Butcher is not here this evening. Part of this is budgeted, and the remainder he said he'll need to move from the permanent improvement fund to cover it.
Yeah, okay. All right, I had this question, so I'd move then, we approve the bids that were submitted and recommended low bidders.
There's a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. New business. Consider approval of the Academy of Careers and Technologies new OSHA 10 elective course standards.
Good evening again. At ACT, we schedule our students in 2 blocks instead of 3 periods in a 3-hour time period. So most of our students are only getting 2 credits per half day. If they stayed at their home school, they would get 3 credits. So that's one driving force behind trying to find an additional credit or 2 for those students. Most of our students, it's never been an issue, but there are a lot of our students in some of our programs, they're in the hunt for scholarships and they're in the hunt for GPA and different things, so this could help. So one of the things we know is almost every one of our students takes an OSHA certified course and receives their OSHA 10 card, which is vital when they're going on the job. We have specialized OSHA training for healthcare workers. We have specialized for carpenters. There's specialized OSHA certifications for automotive and all of these different ones. Then there's a general one that a lot of our students take. But this is it's an online course. They take it a lot of it is on their own time, and it takes a lot of time. So we would like to give them a credit for this course. My next step, if it's approved here tonight, would be to ask the state to award us a WEVIS number for that. And then I've already started discussions with Mr. Fuller and our counselors. How do we award this credit? I'm looking real closely at how we award an ag credit called Supervised Agricultural Experience. And if they complete that hours and that experience, then they're awarded the 0134 credit on their transcript. And so that's where I'm leaning with this, and I've produced the standards, and our teachers have already been doing this with almost 100% of our students.
So the one here is just for the OSHA credit. The ag credit you're still looking into, is that correct?
We already do the ag credit.
Right.
The supervised ag credit. That's the way they get it. They're
Right.
not scheduled in it.
Right.
But if they do that in the summertime,
Right.
then they are awarded that credit.
I was gonna say, we used to do that a long time ago. That's why I said,
Yeah,
it's
we
been
are still doing that.
Okay,
So I'd
okay.
like to deliver this similar in
a
that.
similar kind of a thing.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Pack, how long will it take someone to complete one of those? I mean, how, on average, what would it take to complete that class?
I think it's 60-some hours.
Okay, that's,
And that's their instruction, then the teacher's giving them hands-on, stand in front of them instruction as well.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, consider approval of the New River Community and Technical College dual credit class agreement with Raleigh County Schools, 24-25.
So the next two items actually go together, but the first one is just simple. It's just dual credit class agreement. The next one is also dual credit, but it's a pathway agreement. If you look at the second document, it looks like this. This is a pathways agreement. I believe Mr. Pack has worked with Liberty High to develop what you see here for Liberty, but you can see it's a Grow Your Own program. And you can see on the second page, the classes that the students would take at Liberty and what those classes the dual credit match, if you will, at New River. So if you have any questions for Mr. Pack, he's back up here. But this is really just to approve our agreements with New River.
So the Liberty agreement was something Liberty worked out. It's for some of their academic courses. That's okay but at ACT, we have 3 now courses that are dual credit with New River. And so that's what you'll see later in this document. Our medical assisting, our criminal justice, and our computer repair and coding classes are receiving dual credit at New River. But the great thing about this is they're receiving a course credit for a course that's universal in West Virginia. So any community college in West Virginia, they can take that criminal justice or that medical assisting or that anatomy course too and receive credit at any community college. We're looking at expanding that. I met with New River this morning. We're looking at expanding that to therapeutic services, automotive, and welding possibly this year. And so those students will receive 6 to 12 hours of dual credit and high school credit at the same time.
These classes that Liberty's got here, they're getting the English credit there, American government, college algebra, general psychology. Those are New River, that's their numbers. Are those transferable to anywhere else but just New River, or where's those? Do you know?
I believe they typically transfer within the state of West Virginia. I'm not sure outside the state of West Virginia.
W's didn't take this. I didn't know if they still do or not. Maybe they just changed it. They may do it now. They may do it now with the new thing, but
I can double check, but
I was
I
curious.
thought they were transferable within the state.
in the state, okay.
But I will double check. We would certainly want our children,
To
our
know,
students
they need
to
to know
know.
that there's, where they're
Yeah,
taking this
because
credit.
sometimes
Yes.
I will confirm with New River, and we'll make sure that our students do know at Liberty before they would take those classes.
And there's no cost to the student on those?
No, for the Pathways program, at the state level, there was, the Pathways program was developed, and I believe right now, if the students had to pay, it would be a small fee, but right now there is no charge because the state's taking
'Cause
care
I
of
know in the
that.
past, we had dual credit classes, like with Concord, where they had to pay a fee.
At this point in time, no for
okay.
this. Now, the agreement does say, should, I guess, the money dry up that the state has set aside for this, then there would be a cost, but at this point in time, no.
Okay, good deal.
So we had a lot of students receive a college transcript when they graduated, and many of those same students took advantage of a $25 per hour academic course this summer to continue their education.
Good deal. Sounds good.
Okay, do y'all want to vote on both of those together, B and C?
Can. I move that we approve the New River Technical Dual Credit and the Pathways Program for 24-25.
There's a second. Motion's moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval of the lease agreement with Beaver Co. regarding New the new road at Coal City Elementary School. Mr. Dillon, you got anything to say?
President Ford, board members, Dr. Starcher, this is.
I don't think you're on.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. President Ford, board members, Dr. Starcher, this is the agreement that we're trying to obtain to put what I'll describe as an additional road to help with what we're going to identify as a bus loop at Coal City. And this agreement was with Beaver Land Company to make that happen. We have some property there. I won't get into details, but we've had a conversation that went back and forth, good conversations, and it ended in a good way. It's going to really benefit the school and I think benefit them. But this was to obtain the right to put additional road on the backside of the playground at Coal City, if you can imagine where I'm talking about, to aid in the arrival and dismissal of school traffic and bus traffic.
Does it go all the way around the school or just around the playground? You come
So you can access it from the existing parking lot, back where the greenhouse used to be.
Right.
And back around the playground and come out on the far side at the flat area, past Coal City from the main road. So the road itself that we would construct would not be all the way around the school because it doesn't need to be.
Right.
It would be to attach to where the greenhouse is gone.
Right.
And to assist in bus dismissal and arrival. We really feel like it'll really improve the traffic flow.
What is it, did I see 20-year lease? Is that what it is, or?
It is. It's a 20-year lease with 2 10-year renewals. We will pay Beaver Coal $100 per year. The lease also provides them access to the driveway. They have a driveway to a residential piece of property that they own. The driveway is actually on our property. So this lease not only includes the land for the road that Mr. Dillon's speaking of, but also includes the driveway.
Gives them.
It gives them
Regas and egas to cross that property.
legal, yeah.
Yeah.
Which they've had
They
now
have
for
had that.
for the last
I mean,
umpteen years. It's
yeah.
the house directly past the school.
Right.
That driveway does sit on our property. But through this conversation, we've just wanted to document everything.
Yes.
Okay, good deal.
Any questions? Do you have a motion?
I move we approve the lease with Beaver Land Company for the new road at Coal City Elementary.
Is there a second?
My second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consideration of personnel. Approve superintendent's recommendations for 24-25 year.
Good evening, everyone. We have a few corrections to make. Dr. Starcher, do you want me to add the TBD names in? Okay. On page 1, under A, contracted Gear Up Local Coordinator, that will reflect Cassara Stover, transfer from 3rd grade teacher from Ridgeview Elementary to the Gear Up Local Coordinator.
What was her first name?
Cassara, Kasarh. And then the next line, also A, under elementary counselors, will reflect Molly Toney, counselor, Clear Fork District Elementary, Marsh Fork Elementary. Further down the page on letter C, remove the last name, Julie Pittman. That was just an error she went through on the last set of recos. Page 2, top of the page, Anita Wilson, her effective date should reflect 8/22/24. And then at the very bottom, under extracurricular elementary, Barbara Brown, that should say Clear Fork District Elementary. And the last two should say Cranberry Prosperity Elementary. page 3. Under section B, midway down, Brittany Stanley, volleyball coach, Cranberry Prosperity Elementary, should be moved up to the professional section, which is A, the section above. Then on page 4, remove Taylor Durham, volleyball coach, non-paid Shady Spring Elementary. And then section B, third name down, Krista Chappell should be moved to section A, the professional section. Last page, page 8, under secretary, section A, we need to remove that entire section. And then under transportation D, John Hallowell, the effective date should read 8/14. Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent, your recommendation?
My recommendation is as presented with the changes noted by Ms. Samanko.
Y'all have heard the recommendation, have a motion.
I move we approve the superintendent's recommendations as were submitted to us with the corrections as have been noted.
Second.
Motion moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
I will tell Greg, I'm glad to see a bunch of substitute school bus drivers on there.
Approve the following contractual services as needed. Therapeutics Incorporated occupational therapy provider. Okay.
Those are occupational therapy services as we have need for additional
Okay.
evaluators, or support services, someone we can go to and ask for temporary
Okay.
services.
Any questions? Do you have a motion?
So, second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I hate to disappoint you, but that's all we have on the agenda. This meeting is adjourned.
I thought, Mr. Ford, I thought you were going to read this to us.
No, Chris is gonna read
Yeah,
that.
that's
Chris.
right, that's it.
Well,
Did you hear about elementary teacher at Fairdale about her husband? Every heart disorder, he had a heart attack and died.
is that remote at the store?
His daughter was the second in line at Liberty. She was graduated around when he was 80. He's in his late 40s.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're supposed to take her to W tomorrow.